Hey everyone, welcome back. So now let's start working on our models for MongoDB. Inside our user model, it is inside the models folder. First of all, we are going to require the mongoose equals to require mongoose. And now I'm going to create a schema variable. So mongoose.schema. So here we are going to have user schema. It is going to be new schema. And inside here, first of all, we are going to have name. Its type is going to be string. And required is equals to true. And after name, we are going to have email. Type is again going to be string. Required is going to be true. And unique is going to be true. So we do not want same email in our database. And after email, we are going to have password. Again, type is going to be string. And required is equals to true. And select, I'm going to set it to false. So what the select will do is whenever you search for user in the backend, by default, this password field will not appear in that variable. I'm going to explain it to you further, but all it is going to do is this field is not going to be shown by default. And now we are going to have username. Its type is again going to be string. Required and unique is going to be true. So we do not want any similar usernames in our database. And I'm going to set trim to true. So there will be, if there are any spaces, it will automatically be trimmed. And now we are going to have profile pic URL. We are going to upload it to Cloudinary and we are going to store the URL in the database. So its type is going to be string. So after this profile pic URL, we are going to have some booleans. It is going to be new message popup. Type is going to be boolean. And default is going to be true. Basically, we are going to use these booleans to make layout changes in our front end. And after this, we have unread message. Again, its type is going to be boolean. And by default, it's going to be false. And I'm just going to copy it. And this one is going to be unread notification. And after this unread notification, we are going to have role. So it's going to be role of the user. So its type is going to be string. Default is going to be user. And enum, inside an array, we are going to have user and root. So enum basically tells this field that there can only be two values inside this, only these two, not any other value than that. And after this role, we are going to have a reset token. Type is going to be string. And after this reset token, we have expire token. Its type is going to be date. So the token which we are going to send to the user to reset the password, it is only going to be valid for 1 hour. So we are going to check that with this expire token. And saving this, and on the second argument of the schema, I'm going to set the timestamps to true so that we can know when the user was created. So now we are going to export this model. So module.exports, it is going to be mongoose.model. I'm going to set the name to user and the schema is going to be our user schema. And now let's create our profile model. So inside our profile model, let's copy these two. And this is going to be our profile schema. It is again going to be new schema. So module.exports, it is going to be mongoose.model. I'm going to name it profile. And our profile schema. So inside the schema, first of all, we want to link this profile model to this user model. So we are going to use a property for that, user. Its type is going to be schema.types.objectID. And we are going to set the reference ref to user. So this user is this right here, this name right here, make sure it is the same. So basically this user is going to be this user model's ID. By default, MongoDB automatically creates an underscore ID field. So we are going to use this user.id and we are going to set this user with that ID. And after this user, we are going to have a bio field. Its type is going to be string and required is going to be true. And after this bio, we are going to have a social. It is going to be an object. And inside this, we are going to have links for our social media links, social media usernames. So YouTube, property, type is going to be string. And these are not required by default. We are going to have Twitter. Again, its type is going to be string. I'm just going to copy 2 more times. We are going to have YouTube and our Instagram. And again, we are going to set its timestamps to true. So now let's create a follower model. Again, I'm going to copy these 2 lines. Let's close this out. And inside here, this is going to be follower schema and new schema. And again, we are going to export this. So module.exports mongoose.model follower and follower schema. So again, we are going to have a user field. Its type is going to be schema.types.object_id. And reference is again going to be the user. And after this user property, we are going to have followers, the followers of the user. So it is going to be an array. And inside this array, there's going to be an object. It is going to have a user property. And again, it is going to be schema.types.object_id. And again, the reference is going to be user. So followers is an array. And inside that array, each object is going to have a user. And after this followers, I'm just going to copy this. Following. So I'm going to explain it even further when we are working on followers and following in our front and back end. So in the next video, we're going to start working on our API routes. So I will see you in the next video.